2020 is going to be a very interesting year. Oh, I told Bill, I ragged on him a little bit about this. Mr. Lawyer and Mr. Orator over here, I'm always stunned on how these guys do these speeches. And Steve always has an impactful way of speaking. Bill, last year, memorized this entire speech, and I said there will be no memorization. And for some of you who witnessed 4 years ago, there will be no shower scene video this year. So I'm going to cut that off. I've gotten older. It just doesn't work anymore. 2020 is going to be a very interesting year. New partnerships will get their first tests. Building projects that began years ago will get final approval. We have elections to run. We have budgeting to do, and plenty of things that are going on in the paper, most of which concerning county business. So as my first active chairman, I'd like to nominate Bill Gates to succeed me as chairman effective immediately.
I decline. Thank you very much.
I'm kidding. It's an honor to serve as chairman of the Board of Supervisors as we enter a new decade. A lot has changed in the 4 years since I first held this position. But for me, the mission is the same. Focus on our mandates, do them well, and protect and serve the taxpayer. As a county government, our job is not to solve every problem or be involved in every issue. It's to bring stability to a diverse and dynamic region. It's to make this place where prosperity lasts and democracy flourishes, where each individual has the opportunity to create a high-quality life knowing that their government is spending their money on mandated services that enhance health, safety, and give residents a voice in this process. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to live those values in the coming year, and I couldn't ask for better colleagues to serve alongside me. Supervisor Gates, thank you for your leadership over the past year. 2019 wasn't the easiest year for Maricopa County, but as chairman, you handled it with grace and a steady hand. I'm grateful for the clarity you bring this board and for your work in spearheading the Smart Region Consortium, a public-private partnership which connects participating governments with technology-based innovations. I believe this collaboration will result in a Maricopa County that is better positioned for the future with more opportunities, more connections, and better service for residents. So thank you, Bill, for that. Supervisor Sellers, you've made it clear that we appointed the right person to represent District 1. Your energy and passion for the region are apparent on your social media and in your comments here on the dais. You are a tireless champion, not just for the East Valley, but for the entire county. And if you attend the meetings, I do not know, Jack, if you even sleep. So thank you for getting out there and seeing and showing everybody who you are and what you do for the county. We will look to your expertise in transportation and infrastructure in the coming year as your region considers what a new Proposition 400 might look like. You and I both are believers in a comprehensive transportation plan that it's essential to the success and the economic vitality of our region. As the incoming chairman, I would like you to be the vice chair of the Board of Supervisors. This year is going to be a team effort. Supervisor Chukri, as the longest serving member of this board, meaning he is the old man of the board. You used to be Andy, but now Steve is. Not in age, sure, okay, all right. You have helped transform how the county serves as its residents by bringing a business mindset to government. Your connections in the community and nationally mean you don't just talk about innovation, you bring us examples of how to do it, and it benefits us all. Thank you for your continued support. Supervisor Gallardo, your experience and perspective makes us a better and more inclusive board. You're the current president-elect and future president of the County Supervisors Association, which is an extremely important role to this county. That is the interface we have with the other rural counties, and you know how important it is. You've been working hard at it already. You're going to be a fantastic CSA president. You're the only board member who has served down at the legislature and the only one with elections experience. Your elections expertise in particular will be of utmost value to this year, as this board now oversees day of election activities. This brings me to elections, which is probably the most central thing we have in store this year. I think this board agrees our first short-term goal in 2020 is to pull off a fantastic presidential preference election on March 17th. We're going to do it by communicating early and often to our voters, making early voting available for nearly 1 month at 40 different locations, increasing the number of election day polling places to 220, and reducing peak wait times to less than 30 minutes per voter by maximizing technology and staff. You can read more about the plan by going to maricopa.gov/2020 PPE plan. Many voters already have their eyes on the primary election in August and the general in November, and we do too. We partnered with the Recorder's Office last year to ensure bipartisan oversight of elections not seen in Maricopa County in more than 50 years. In addition, the board has invested over $15 million to make sure we have the right personnel and updated equipment. The integrity and success of our elections is my #1 priority in 2020, and I would like to acknowledge 2 people who will be integral to that success. Scott Jarrett, the Director of Election Day and Emergency Voting. Where are you, Scott? We've seen you a lot, and we're going to see a lot more this year, who reports directly to the board. And Ray Valenzuela, I don't know if I saw Ray. Ray Valenzuela, the Director of Election Services and Early Voting, who reports to the Recorder. I think we've had a series of votes over the last couple years, and the work that Steve and Bill and Steve have done with our Recorder to create a collaborative approach is going to pay off big for the county voter. I truly believe that, and we are going to be having a series of meetings in that regard. Their work in crafting the first ever election day and emergency voting plan for the PP will serve as a fantastic template for the planning and collaboration that must occur if we are able to deliver the elections our residents expect and deserve. We will again need an army of volunteers and poll workers to make sure voters have a great voting experience. Not unlike jury duty, it is our civic duty to help make sure democracy continues. Anyone can do it, whether it's setting up a polling place prior to the election or working as a poll worker on election day. To assist in this effort, I will be asking members of our talented county workforce to fill some of those crucial positions. Last election, we had over 350 county employees step up for the 2018 general election. With the success of our new volunteer 13K program, I expect this number to be even greater this year. Employees who want to sign up now can get in touch with our volunteer 13K program. Now, I've been thinking about this because how well it worked, and I think it can be expanded. So many of the county workers from McDOT through the IT department stepped up in 2018 in that general election, and we didn't see so much about the running of that because I think there was so many people that brought their talents to bear for the voter. And I am hoping and making my call towards county people that to seriously consider working in another capacity for us that day of. I would very much appreciate the volunteers to do that. Next brings me to government operations, as I started to speak about. I think everyone on this dais is committed to running a lean and efficient government, but how do we really do that? I believe our economy depends on a strong dollar, and excessive government taxation and spending reduces the value of that dollar. One way to limit spending is by limiting our operations to what is in state law. This board rarely steps out of our statutory mandates, so if we do, we need to make sure we bring value. Whether it's county regional parks, workforce development, or animal control, we need to bring true vision and make sure we are the ones defining success. With animal care and control, we should ask ourselves if we are the correct or only form of government to best fill this space. If the answer is yes, then let us truly bring our business mindset to this issue and not let emotions steer this conversation. We are saving more than 95% of the pets that come through our shelters, but at a growing cost to taxpayers. Is this sustainable? We have benchmarked ourselves against other jurisdictions and examined best practices. Now we need to find and implement the right approach for our unique situation. Our nonprofits and cities have a stake in animal care and control as well. We should expand and leverage those partners and ensure everyone in the community is doing their fair share. We owe it to ourselves and the taxpayers. While the regional parks are not a mandated service of county government, this is where we can see significant value to the quality of life and the economy of our great county. A recent study of our parks' economic impact conducted by ASU found that every dollar invested in the county park system returns $1.42 in economic impact to the region. One investment I'm really excited about is the creation of the Vulture Mountain Regional Park. In 2019, we partnered with the Bureau of Land Management and in this very chamber signed the documents to acquire more than 1,000 acres of land for county park development within the 71,000-acre Vulture Mountain Recreation Area. I think you guys remember that, the Hassayampa Preserve, and that I drove past that just a week and a half ago, and the residents up there, about 6 or 7 of them at the meeting I had with them, commented on how well that is going. So I appreciate this board so much when it came to that. And there's other lands up there now to protect and preserve. Phase 1 of 4 should begin this summer and will include all park road construction in partnership with McDOT, as well as the installation of park utility infrastructure and site grading. When the park is completed, it will have the county's first formal off-highway vehicle recreation area and provide quality amenities and training opportunities for this popular sport. We anticipate Vulture Mountain Regional Park will be a huge boost for Wickenburg and other West Valley communities, both in terms of the economy and quality of life. We have one of the largest and best-run park systems in the United States. This is no accident. I want to recognize the significant and lasting impact of county supervisors that came before us. Supervisors in the 60s realized the lasting value of protecting our national heritage, our natural heritage for future generations, and began setting aside large regional parks to meet the needs of current and future generations. This is one reason why so many people want to live here. In keeping with their legacy, we too have a duty to provide natural places for our children and grandchildren as the county continues to grow and prosper. And if you'll indulge me for a second, where's Andy? Andy, you've been such a leader in the county park system. Every time I go into the parks that are on my side, everyone asks me, how's Andy doing? So that was true leadership, what you showed, and to develop the county trail system. Thank you for being here, because this is a solidly important function of county government. So thank you, Andy, for the hard work that you inspired us all to continue on. Another way we can create property that lasts is through a predictable regulatory climate that promotes job creation and a healthy economy. During my first chairmanship in 2016, I asked for a moratorium on new government rules and regulations. The moratorium sent a message that government doesn't need to expand endlessly, that we can take a step back, work with businesses rather than against them, and that, in doing so, we can continue to protect public health, safety, and the environment. This year, I think we should reaffirm our commitment to improving the regulatory processes and decreasing regulatory burdens. I am asking my colleagues to stand with me again and vote for another moratorium. This is good for current and future residents, for business, and for county government. Another success when I was first chairman was the creation of Vendor University, which was our effort to make it easier for local merchants to do business with Maricopa County. I remember well the first ever Vendor University event in Glendale, where nearly 100 local businesses met face-to-face with county workers and learned the ins and outs of partnering with us to provide goods and services. Since then, the Office of Procurement Services has conducted a dozen Vendor University events, which have produced an average yearly increase of 14% in the number of businesses providing goods or services to the county. When more vendors bid, we get better service, and it keeps the jobs local. As a founding member of Local First, I want to encourage all county departments to build on this success and proactively increase their outreach efforts so that it is easier to for more vendors to do business with Maricopa County. In the past few years, we'll move to Clean Start. I wanted to kind of reflect back, because sometimes we do things in one year and then we get to see the impacts in later years, and this is one of them. Clean Start Initiative. In the past few years, we've done a better job providing second chances for those involved with the criminal justice system. It's an issue my family is passionate about. Working with Human Services Department's Workforce Development Division, the county has implemented several new and innovative initiatives to help people find a way back to stability. In 2016, under my chairmanship, we launched Clean Start, which replaced paid county staff working in the commercial-style jail laundry with former inmates and probationers. We wanted to give them the opportunity to get work skills and behavioral training so they were able to get jobs after incarceration. After an 18-month period, the Clean Start project served 156 offenders with medium to high risk of recidivism, and 67% of them successfully completed the training necessary for employment. And I'm really hoping that all 67% have jobs in this economy right now. The Clean Start program has since evolved. Now in collaboration with the MCSO, Adult Probation, and St. Mary's Food Bank Alliance, Community Kitchen, inmates learn culinary skills while in custody in the food factory for 3 weeks, then get paid work experience while on probation. This is just one example. In total, we've been able to direct approximately $1 million in federal workforce funds to these kinds of job training efforts, which doesn't just help justice-involved individuals, it also helps the community. Fewer repeat offenders means lower jail costs, and more people with jobs mean a stronger economy. All of this leads to safer communities. And thank you, Steve, for your leadership in that as we morph that into, I'm assuming that the restaurant industry is getting some great workers out of Maricopa County. The ITR and the 225 building. Speaking of safer communities, in 2020, we'll officially open a new jail. The intake, transfer, and release facility on our Durango campus applies science and best practices so we get police officers back on the streets faster, reduce the cost of transporting inmates, and give people in custody a better chance of success upon release. The facility will have courtrooms, physical and mental health care, holding facilities for shorter stays, and more than 1,000 beds for longer stays. The ITR is designed around efficiency and is built to serve our public safety needs for decades to come. So thank you, Sheriff Pinzone, with your leadership of getting that place built. I guess we got to see some of that going up. It's really a nice looking building, and you've got great people that are going to be in there servicing the community. Another great facility opening this year is the redesigned building at 225 Madison. This used to be a jail, but instead of tearing it down at great cost to taxpayers and with a massive amount of waste sent to the landfill, we have repurposed it as office space for our county attorneys. Doing so will also enable other county departments to get out of lease space and move into a central location downtown, saving even more money. Our prosecutors will also benefit from easier access to courts and each other. Alistair, congratulations. Real soon you're going to get a bouncing baby building. And we laughed the whole time prior to you when we were talking about this with former County Attorney Bill Montgomery. It's hard for us to shake out of our head that we're putting attorneys in an old jail. So it's no longer an inside joke. It's a great thing. It's hooked up to the security apparatus, to the jails and the tunnels, and I think everybody's going to stay much safer. And to get out of all of that lease space that the county doesn't own is going to be really good in the years to come. I am proud to support both of these projects, which were completed without taxpayer bonds, and grateful for the vision of those who came before us in anticipating needs and focusing on long-term solutions. So in conclusion, in 2020, I see a chance to build on the successes of the past decade, not by trying to do everything for everyone, but by trying to do a few important things very well. We will run successful elections. We will examine our mandates and make sure we are creating value for taxpayers in all we do. And we will look at ways to create prosperity that lasts and opportunity is wide-reaching as our landscape. Thanks again to my fellow board members for placing their trust in me as chairman and indulging me with the time here this morning. I look forward to the challenges ahead. So let's get started on the rest of today's agenda. Thank you all for being here.